Hello everyone, the year is 2024, the year we've all been waiting for. Last year we parted on a good note, a solid note. We did SMART goals, and this is the year that we get to implement our SMART goals. What better way to start the year off than actually putting those goals on paper and seeing them through? Hi again, my name is Alfred, and today we're going to be talking about problems that I have encountered during land acquisition. We're picking up from this end because last year we were still on the topic of land acquisition, the process. I'm going to share with you what I am going through now and some of the issues that I have gone through in the past, not necessarily solutions, but just so you know what to expect out there. Right, let's get cracking. So I once bought a plot in block 8. It was well and good location, right size, neighborhood was great, the price was reasonable, but it looked like it would be worth it in the long run, even though I didn't do a soil assessment. That was the worst mistake that I ever did with regards to that plot. When we start construction, we find out that the soil is actually not good enough for us to just shoot straight into construction without rehabilitating the land. Now, rehabilitation of soil can be quite pricey. Now, I find myself having to spend a lot of money rehabilitating land, which then makes the plot extremely expensive and shrinks the profits down. I find myself either stuck with this plot. I either have to resell it, but this person that I pass it on to is going to have to face the same problems, or I have to spend more money rehabilitating the land and in the end walk away with a loss after spending time building on this land. Now, if you think this is bad, trust me, you haven't seen it all. I've had a situation where I bought a plot and I was shown the plot by the property owner, took me to site, and I took for granted going with maps and looking at the actual location for myself. I said, I trust them. He was allocated this plot. It's got corner posts. It's his. Went on to order material, make plans, and the brickyard delivers bricks to a different plot, and I call them, why have you delivered to a different place? We've been waiting for material here forever. And they say, no, we think we got the right place. We don't know where you are, but it's definitely not where you bought. Sheesh. I was lucky still because I hadn't started even putting the bricks on the ground. I know of a lot of developers who've actually lost a lot of money having built houses on the wrong plots. I know it sounds laughable, but it really does happen. And you find yourself stuck with a house in a plot that's not yours, that you didn't buy. And now you have to find the actual plot owner, renegotiate some sort of deal with them, such that you are able to recover your money back. And most of the time, these people do want some form of payment for you to do a plot swap. This is not even the heavy stuff that I'm here to talk about. It gets worse. A couple of years ago, bought a plot in block 10 from an old man from Molepolle. He must have been in his late 60s and he didn't even have a bank account, but he was allocated this plot. The price was right. And he said he'd lost the title deed. We went to the deeds registry office, did a background check. Indeed, the title deed is there. It's in his names. Everything is legit. So we go on to apply for lost title whilst we go on and develop the property. We begin construction, and a couple of days later, a lady calls and says, "Hey, I'm so and so, and who are you, ma'am? What do you mean? I hear you are in my property constructing. What gives you the right to build in my property?" I'm like, "No, I bought it. I bought it from so and so." And she's like, "No, I have the title deed with me. It's unfortunate. I have been in South Africa for a year and I haven't started construction, but I bought that plot and I have the title with me." So what this means is the old man saw the plot still sitting there after selling it and said, let me go in for seconds. So now I have to work on recovery of the money, and I don't know what he spent the money on, but in a week he had done so much damage that I got out of it very little left. The sad part is, when somebody is that old, going into a legal battle with them will not get you anywhere really. They don't have anything to their name. They are already old, so what are you going to do? Are you putting them in jail or what? With property, you find out that you cannot trust even people that look like they wouldn't even be of any harm. I'll give you an example. There's a lady, frail, looked like she had been beat down by the world, gave a soapy divorce story and said, "Hey, I have two bedroomed houses unfinished. I need to get rid of them. I've gone through a divorce. I cannot afford this. I need a little bit of money so I could put food on the table and move on. I'm not coping." I'm like, "Oh, okay, sounds good. The price is really good. And guess what? As they say, what glitters is not gold." Later on, I find out this lady has been selling each and every month to a new buyer with the same soapy story of, it's a subdivision, the papers are at the land board. Once the papers are out, then we will do a transfer. It's a good price. No, you can have the house, or but then you'll have to wait to finish off constructing on the 2-bedroomed houses, and then blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Everyone is in debt. Some people in loans, buying the same plot. In the end, I decided to walk away. Lost money, yes, but walked away with my peace of mind, because there were so many people who are going to go into a legal battle with someone who has not a cent to their name, but they are able to pull off the biggest con. What? You think this is as bad as it gets? You've got to be kidding me. Just today, in the middle of a shoot, in walks in a lady, says, "I'm the daughter of so and so. I found your contractor at my plot. I've brought my contractor in because I'm building in my father's property. Who are you?" And I tell her that, "No, we bought this plot in December. This is our first project of the year as Lesedi Lebone property developers, and yes, we did buy from your father." A gentleman calls me, says, "No, I didn't sell to you. You've never met me." And indeed, the agreement was done through lawyers whilst I was on vacation in South Africa. I've paid close to $500,000 on this property. And it means now, going forward, I'm going into another battle. And believe you me, this time around, I'm not walking away. It's a lot of money. But you do everything right, and still you find yourself in these kind of sticky situations. If after 12 years, I'm still experiencing these kind of problems, surely as a new person, you could use this information to raise your guard up and always make sure that you have all the bases covered, even though it doesn't give you assurance. Other problems can arise from mistakes that authorities have made. There's a plot that I bought in OD. Bought it from a cop. The lady was a cop. Everything was smooth. It was a subdivision, but it was already transferred. It was in her names. I do the plan, and when we try and fit the house on the actual land, the measurements of the plot and the measurements of the house just don't match up. So this is the right plot, but all the write-up in the deed is wrong. Listen, I build to sell. I don't usually build to keep. So I cannot possibly continue on with this transaction, because what it means is I'm going to have to deal with the next person who I'm going to sell to. And they're going to ask me questions. Why does it say 700 on the title deed and then on ground it's 600? And most people get financing from banks. So it's not just about that person who's buying, but having to deal with all these people in there. I got out. Luckily, I was able to persuade the lady that, hey, I need the money back. I don't want to be in this sticky situation. You go back and handle it with the landlord, but please raise the money. I lost out. Yes, I lost out on time. Time is money. And she took quite a bit of time to pay me off. So these are the situations that we find ourselves in. And sometimes you start off with the worst possible problems. I remember when we first got in, there was a lady who was married to this gentleman. The guy passes away, and it's a later state. The lady is selling. They're newlyweds. The lady's a foreigner, and after the husband passes, she wants to go back to her home village, her home country. So she decides to sell the plot, and we go to the lawyers. I do everything right on my end, and we built the house. We have a buyer. Everything is out, letters of undertaking. The solicitor has prepared the documents. The lady is supposed to come and sign transfer documents. And on the very day that she was scheduled to come and sign, her new boyfriend murders her in cold blood. Now we are stuck with these documents. They are not signed. And not only that, but this lady and the gentleman do not have children. So we have to now go and look for the gentleman's family, who had no knowledge of any sale of their late son's property. We have to now find a way to negotiate with them to come on board to help us with the situation. We're stuck. And this kind of situation involves a lot of people. Kidiokosi, Bomalome, all relatives have to come on board, and as a stranger to have to walk into people's homes and explain yourself. Who are you and what do you want? It's one of those situations that you really don't want to find yourselves in. You know, with property, with every problem, you feel like, I don't think it can get worse. I don't think they can be anything bigger than this. But trust me, it gets worse. I have been through a situation where I bought a property from a gentleman in G West. Beautiful place, you know, location, the three important elements in property. And I have this land. Next thing we find ourselves there, he's been paid and there's an encroachment on the plot. The city council, roads department, Ministry of Lands now are all in on this issue because there's an encroachment and in the plot, and It's a question of what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the plot or the culvert, the drainage system? One person is saying, no, the drainage system came first, the plot came in after. The other person is saying, no, the roads department, we came in first, and nobody wants to own up to this thing that there's a problem. Worst off, the plot is not in my names. To have to dig up that gentleman to come and assist with this problem, I'm being sent from pillar to post and getting nothing out of it. Eventually they just say, we'll just have to write to the Ministry of Lands and we will see what they will do about it. A year passes. The second year passes. I've put money there, sitting on the ground. It's not growing. Every day I'm making a loss. These are problems that no matter how much you try and prepare for, you don't really see them coming. There are situations where, for instance, two people married, the one who owns title passes away in the middle of the transaction. Now the only person left is the spouse. Now this deal needs family members as well. Issues of inheritance. People need to sign off on things. You find yourself in this mess of having to deal with family members who don't want to cooperate for one reason or the other. In most cases, they just want a share of the money. There are issues of, especially with children, inheritance. Somebody has 4 kids. There's a later stage property. They say they are selling. They come with all the letters that, no, we are selling, it's the 2 of us. Later on, you find there are 6 kids out there. Now, all of a sudden, it's an issue that involves a lot of people. And you find yourself having to renegotiate with a group, something that you had initially not planned for. Like I'm telling you, with land, there are no guarantees, really. One of the problems that I have also experienced is in issues of resale. Let's say I am buying a plot from someone who has previously also bought it from someone else. So I am now the 3rd person in line. Once I've paid the previous plot owner and the title is still in the original owner's names, now I have to work with the original plot owner, and getting people to cooperate long after they've been paid the end of the share of money is difficult. Kamoso ko morakeng, kamoso wa lwala, kamoso o tle go mo tsaya. They have long forgotten that they actually sold this property and they've benefited from it, and they owe you at least that to make sure that the transfer is smooth. We could spend all day literally here talking about issues that I have either seen, experienced in land acquisition, and trust me, there will still be more under the sun to see. I do not mean to discourage you. I just want you to know that if you're going through something similar, you are not alone. You are not the first, and likelihood is you're not the last, unfortunately. But do keep faith. And in the next segment, I am bringing in a guest who is going to help us with ways to solve these land issues, the problems that you encounter, such that you can have your bases covered, or at least have someone covering your transaction. Next segment, we're bringing in a lawyer. This is Oakanza Alfred Follow me on YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, all social media platforms, all Organza Alfred. #strive for impact. Ciao.